Hello my people, I welcome you all back to my channel. Welcome back to Mary June Kitchen. In today's class I'm going to be teaching you guys how I achieved this shiny look, yummy and delicious Nigerian meat pie. The British call it mixed pie. You can see how beautiful and mouth-watering this is looking. Oh my, I know you guys can't wait to have a taste of this. Oh my, this is so beautiful. So if this is what you guys would like to learn, please kindly stay tuned to this and to the end of this tutorial. Thank you. So to start with, I would like to take you guys through all the ingredients I will be needing for this recipe. So here is my rolling pin to roll out my dough. So here is my flour. I'm using 600 gram. My butter, I'm using 250 gram. So I'll be needing milk for this recipe. Of course, a cutout for my dough, my meat pie cutter, my nutmeg, salt, and a baking powder. So we are going to be needing a big bowl like this. So I forgot to mention this earlier. I'll be needing my sieve. Some people call it strainer. So I'll go ahead by adding all my dry ingredients. I love to sieve everything before using. So this is the part of the reason why you need to sieve all your dry ingredients before using. You can see all the particles. So we are not going to be needing this, so that's why we need to sieve our dry ingredients before using. So as you can see, can you see it? So my all-purpose flour has been sieved already, so I'll go ahead by adding my nutmeg. I'm going to be sieving that too. My baking powder, and of course my salt. I'm not going to be needing too much because I'm using salted butter already, so for my dough not to be too salty. I'm going to sieve everything together with the all-purpose flour. Pardon me, I forgot to mention this earlier. I'm going to be needing 2 eggs. So after that, I'm going to mix all the dry ingredients together. So after giving it a good mix, I will make a well at the middle. So after creating a well at the middle like this, as you can see, so I'll go ahead by adding in my egg bit by bit. So I'll give everything a good mix till my eggs is well incorporates. So I'm going to add the rest. So I'm going to add in my butter. I'm using 250 gram. So I'm going to give it a good mix. So here is it. My dough is forming already. So after this process, I'll go by adding in my milk. I will not be needing any water for this recipe because our milk already contains 85% of water already. So I'll be adding in my milk bit by bit till I get the consistency I'm looking for. Remember to be adding it bit by bit for you not to add too much milk or water to your dough. So after mixing and get the consistency I'm looking for, I'm going to show it to us. So either adding in your egg before adding in your butter, you still get the same consistency like this. As you can see, this is my dough. It has already been formed together. So after this, I'll go ahead by sprinkle some flour on a plain surface like this. I'm going to be using this plain surface to knead my dough. So I'm going to place my dough on it. I'm going to be folding it. Make sure not to over knead this. You don't have to over knead it for our dough not to be strong, so as to achieve what you are looking for. While doing this process, make sure your hands are clean. So my dough is already ready. So I'm going to be needing a plastic wrap. So I'll cover my dough with a plastic wrap and allow my dough to rest inside the fridge for 1 to 2 hours. Some call this cling film, but you can also call it plastic wrap, depending on how you want to handle the English. You don't mind me. So my dough has already been properly sealed by cling film. So I'm going to keep this inside the fridge for 1 to 2 hours. So since our dough is already resting in the fridge, so we go ahead by preparing our filling. So for my filling recipe, I'll be needing carrots, mixed beef, Irish potato, curry, salt, my seasoning cube, my knife for cutting, and spring onions. I love to add spring onions instead of onion to my filling, just because I love the taste and the color is going to give me. So I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to be cutting my potatoes and my carrots. For the cutting, I'll be using my chopping board. So let's start with our carrots. You pick it like this, divide it into 2, just like you are seeing it. It depends on the sizes you are working with. So I love to work with a smaller sizes. So I'll be cutting these carrots into 4. So after that, I'll go ahead by cutting it into the desired sizes I want. I hope you guys can see this. So going to take another one, divide it into 4 like the previous one. So as you can see, so I'll go ahead by cutting it into smaller sizes. Like I said, I love to work with smaller sizes. So this is how we are going to go about the rest. So I'm going to do that off camera, so for our video not to be too long. So I already cut my Irish potato off camera just to avoid too long video. The same process I used in cutting my carrots, that's the same process you'll be using for your potatoes while cutting it. So let our filling process begin. So firstly, I'm going to heat up my frying pan. So after that, I'll go ahead by adding in my vegetable oil for frying. So I'm going to add in my spring onions. So after that, I'm going to add in my beef. Oh my, the aroma is already entering my nose. So you will allow that to cook for some minutes. So while that is cooking, I'm going to add in my my seasoning. Just a little salt. I will add in my curry powder. Make sure not to add too much. Stir everything together. So I'm going to add in my carrots and my potatoes. Give everything a good mix. You can see how lovely the color is coming out already. So while that is cooking, I'm going to make my thickener. I'll be using flour and water. That is going to serve as my thickener for the filling. So this is my flour and water. So I just added little water to it. So it's going to serve as my thickener. Some can, if you like, you can add just dry flour to the carrots and the beef on the fire already. Some people love to add just flour to the mixture already, but I love to add water to the flour before adding it to the mixture, just to avoid lumps. So I'll go ahead by adding it to it. As you can see, I'll give it a good stir. That's going to serve as our thickener. Add little water just to allow our mixture to cook very well and soft. I'll cover it to cook for 2 minutes. So our filling is done already, so I'm going to set that aside to let it cool down, and go ahead to check our dough in the fridge to start cutting and rolling out. So I've gone ahead to remove my dough from the fridge. You can see how our dough is looking. So after that, I'm going to divide our dough into different portions. So as you can see, our dough has been divided into different portions. So after that, I'm going to start rolling out the dough before cutting. So I've already sprinkled some flour on my flat surface or work surface chair. So after that, I'm going to start rolling out with the help of my rolling pin. You can see how beautiful this is coming out. I'm going to flatten it a little bit before cutting. So I've already rolled out my dough, but for the cutting process, I'm going to be using 2 methods. The first method is using my meatpie cutter to cut out the dough, and the second method is to use this plate to cut out the dough. So I'll be showing you guys the 2 methods. Firstly, I'm going to start by using my meatpie cutter. So you are going to place your dough on it like this. After placing that, you add in your filling. A spoon is okay. You're going to put it like this. So after that, you cover it up. But to secure our meat pie, I've already made this batter. This is a mixture of flour and water. So I'm going to use this pastry brush. We are going to do it like this, just to secure our pie while baking. So this is going to serve as sealing up method for our pie. So after that, I'm going to cover it up like this and press it to remove the excess dough. So this is the end result. As you can see how beautiful this came out. As you can see. So after that, I'm going to place it inside my baking pan. I've already sealed it up with a parchment paper. Some people call it baking paper. So this is how I'm going to roll out all the remaining dough, and I'm going to show you guys later. So for this second method, I'm going to place my plate on it like this on the dough and use my cutter. And use my cutter to cut it out like this. So after that, we are going to remove all the excess dough. You can see how lovely this came out. As you can see. So I'm going to add in my filling just on the side like this. Remember not to add too much. I'm going to brush in my batter just to seal up the meat pie. So after that, you are going to fold it over like this and use your hand to pinch it at the edges just to close up our dough, our pie, sorry. So for this, I'm going to be using my fork to create some design. At the edges like this. You can see how beautiful this is. So you can see how beautiful our meat pie is looking already. So this is a mixture of egg white and a yolk. So I'm going to be using this to brush out, so egg wash, we do call it egg wash at times, so egg wash my meat pie just to give it that shiny look. You can see. So this process is going to give our meat pie the shiny look we always desire. So after egg washing it, I'm going to poke our pie at the middle like this. I'm going to poke it at the middle just to allow the passage of it while baking. It's optional anyway. You can actually do this if you like to, and if you don't like to, you can leave it. So I'm done poking our pie at the middle, so I'm going to bake this pie in the oven. So after baking, I'm going to show you guys the results we have. So I'm going to bake this at 175 degrees Celsius for 15 to 25 minutes. So this is the outcome of our pie making. You can see how lovely and shining this came out from the oven. See how beautiful and delicious this is looking already. Oh, so yummy. So if you enjoy this recipe with me, kindly let us know in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, please. Like, share with your family and friends, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.